In this video, I'll break down exactly how fast you can run naturally and how much faster you can get with performance-enhancing drugs. We'll look at real-world examples, scientific studies, and shocking stories from the world of elite sports to see just how much of a difference they actually make. So how much can you improve naturally? Now, I'm not the fastest runner in the world, but I've spent more than 20 years training at a high level, 10 of those as a professional triathlete. My personal best in a 5K is 14 minutes and 43 seconds, and I've run a half marathon in 1 hour and 7 minutes. All of it fully natural. And even though that might seem fast for some, it's not even close to what the best runners in the world can do. So, how much faster can you get naturally? And how does that compare to performance-enhancing drugs? Studies suggest that the key lies in two main factors: VO2 max and running economy. So let's start by looking at VO2 max. Your VO2 max is the highest amount of oxygen your body can use during intense exercise. Think of it as your body's engine size. The bigger the engine, the better the endurance. Healthy, untrained men typically have VO2 max ranges of around 30 to 35, and untrained women typically have ranges between 27 and 31. While you can improve your VO2 max by a ton by training smart, your genes play a huge role in how high it can go. Elite runners typically have a VO2 max of between 70 and 85, and the highest ever recorded VO2 max was 97.5. But while genetics set the upper limit, smart training will help you improve. The question is, for how long? A long-term study on elite marathoners found that after about a decade of training, improvements in VO2 max plateau. At that point, you need to rely heavily on running economy. So, what's running economy? Running economy is like the fuel efficiency of your body. It measures how much energy you use at a given pace. So the less energy you need, the better your running economy is. Think of it like driving a car. The more miles you can get per gallon, the further you'll go without burning out. And while genetics partly determine the ceiling of your running economy, this is one area where training can have a massive impact. You can improve your running economy significantly by focusing on smart training, strength training, biomechanics or running form, and even choosing the right shoes. Studies show that targeted training, so running form drills, plyometrics, strength training, can help you improve your running economy by 10 to 15%. This means that even if your VO2 max doesn't dramatically change, you can still run faster with less effort by focusing on improving that running economy. And there are so many aspects to running economy that this is an area that you can probably work on your entire life and still see marginal improvements. But with age, your VO2 max will decline and so will your performance. But here's where it gets interesting. What happens when you introduce performance-enhancing drugs, also known as PEDs or doping, in endurance sports? Now, before we dive deeper, it's crucial to understand that PEDs are banned for very good reasons. They are dangerous and they can cause lasting harm to your health. So with that said, let's start by looking at EPO, which is probably one of the most well-known PEDs in endurance sports. You see, even though it's widely known as a performance enhancer, a scientific review from 2020 showed that there's only low to moderate evidence that it has any impact on performance. Blood doping, on the other hand, is a different story. A scientific review from 2024 found that even microdosing blood can enhance your performance by as much as 4 to 6% in just 4 weeks. And then there's human growth hormone, or HGH, and testosterone. How much of an effect do you think that has on performance? Well, luckily for us, we don't have to guess, because it's been studied. A study conducted by Meinhardt and colleagues looked at the effects of HGH on athletic performance. The study found that sprint performance improved by 4% in a matter of weeks. But here is where it gets even crazier. The study also noted that when HGH was paired with testosterone, then the sprint capacity rose by 8.3%. That's the difference between just making making the Olympics and winning the gold medal. There are plenty of other methods that athletes use, some of them more creative than others, but now you're probably wondering, well, how much does these PEDs actually improve running performance? Before I show you that, we first have to discuss the dark sides of PEDs. Because doping works, but at what cost? A chilling review in Sports Medicine highlighted that EPO thickens your blood, leading to increased risks of heart attacks and strokes. Cyclists in the 1990s were literally dying in their sleep from blood clots. Blood clots. That's hard to say. There are even reports of athletes who had to get up in the middle of the night to exercise to prevent heart failure. Steroids and HGH are not better. And then there's the career-ending consequences. Lance Armstrong was stripped of 7 Tour de France victories. Marion Jones lost 5 Olympic medals. And Ben Johnson never fully recovered from his doping scandal. There is no doubt that PEDs work, but they also come with serious risks to your health. And then there's just the fact that it's plain unfair in sports to the people who dedicate their lives to something and has to win a medal or has to go to the Olympics or whatever just to put food on the table for their families. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm just really passionate about clean sports because I work with so many athletes whose livelihood depend on it and have dedicated their lives to something. So I just hope that they are competing in a fair and level playing field. But if we look aside from all that, what's actually possible with PEDs? Well, the data is undeniable. Studies on blood doping shows that it can increase your VO2 max by 10 to 15%. If you've ever trained hard to shave off 10 seconds of your 5K, then imagine shaving off a minute or 2 in just a matter of a couple of months. The effects are smaller the better you are, but no matter your current level, they will make a significant impact. So, how do we break it down to actual running times? First, I want to tell you that this study from 2020 estimates that around 15 to 18% of people in the elite fields are doping. So it can be really hard to estimate the natural limit. But I do believe in innocence until proven otherwise. So let's look at the numbers. The best natural marathoners in the world run between 2 hours and 2 hours and 5 minutes in a normal race. And the best time ever recorded was Eliud Kipchoge, and that was 1 hour, 59 minutes and 41 seconds. So with PEDs, we can probably assume that a sub 1 hour and 58 minute marathon in normal racing conditions is possible. The highest ever officially recorded VO2 max is 97.5, but there is anecdotal stories of people or cyclists from the 1990s with VO2 max scores of above 100. And the fastest 100-meter runners in the world run between 9.6 and 10.1 seconds in races, and the world record is 9.58 seconds set by Usain Bolt. With PEDs, a sub 9.5 second 100 meter sprint might actually be possible. The bottom line is that PEDs might be the defining factor between world-class performance and breaking world records. So, are PEDs worth it? Absolutely not. If you're an everyday runner, the best way to improve is naturally. So instead of blood doping, you can do altitude training. And instead of EPO, you can do strength training, you can eat smart, and you can train smarter. For elite runners, the sad truth is that the playing field might not always be fair. But if you're chasing your best performance, then the best way to do that is by training smarter and not by doing something that could cost you everything. And if you want a completely natural way to run faster for longer in just 50 days, then check out this video next.